When I met Dr. Feld, I was to a point where I'd been to many, many doctors, chiropractors, physical therapists. I didn't have a diagnosis, but I was 30 years of intense back pain, spasms, and episodes. I didn't have typical TMJ symptoms that you read about with popping and clicking of the jaw, headaches, things like that. But I was at a point where I had had 3 years of burning foot pain, severe left hip pain, left foot pain. It's just one foot that was constantly day and night on fire. I had seen one neurosurgeon who had told me that he thought that he looked at all the MRIs of my back and told me that I didn't have anything wrong with my back, because some doctors were starting to tell me that I needed back surgery, that the burning foot was coming from pinched nerves in my back. And I never did have a proper diagnosis. The neurosurgeon told me that he couldn't diagnose me, but he thought that my problem was something further up, either in my neck or the TMJ. So I started making a connection that I had been told a lot of things that were false, and I met Dr. Feld at that point. Dr. Feld, immediately I told him that I thought the pain in my foot, which stopped my life basically, was coming from the TMJ. It was amazing how I didn't have to convince Dr. Feld that I was telling the truth. He looked right at me. He said, "I believe you, and I'm going out on a limb, but I promise I will not treat you until I can diagnose you. When I actually see for myself on the x-ray, at that point, I will treat you." I was so blown away that Dr. Feld was so honest with me, that he wanted to help me, but that he was going to have a diagnosis, and that he was going to have to see for himself that my problem was coming from the TMJ, and that he was going to be able to help me without any drugs or any surgery. I was ecstatic. I just, at the prospect that this man was clear thinking, and he was not going to let any arrogance cloud his judgment. So I agreed to have a consultation with him. My husband had been telling me, I know there's a person out there that can help you. And I was starting to lose all faith. I knew he was trying to support me, but I came home and I said, I had met Dr. Feld, and could we just please see one more doctor? And he said, by all means, this sounds like the guy that's going to help. So after I had the x-rays and the tests, it took Dr. Feld a little doing to get the pictures that he wanted, but when he saw clearly the direct association between the impinged nerves in the TMJ and the problem in my left hip and my left foot, he was ecstatic. And I was, of course, excited too, because I felt like somebody finally knows what's wrong with me. So at that point, I was a little nervous, not that I was going to have treatment, but I was just hoping that my body was going to be able to respond to the treatment. That's what was worrying me. And I just was scared because everything else had failed. So, Dr. Feld said, you're really scared, aren't you? And I said, yes, I am. And he said, well, you're no longer out there all by yourself. I'm going to be here to support you. I'm totally accessible for you. If you have any emergency or any problem, I'm going to be there for you. And that was very reassuring to me. I never had any other doctors say those things to me. I'm wearing an appliance, and from the first day it's been a breeze. There's a couple of adjustments I've had to make with my food choices, but I love my salads. Put them in the blender and push the puree button for about 30, maybe 10 seconds, and it softens it up, and I eat better than I did before I started wearing the appliance. Dr. Feld gave me a lot of tips on nutrition and things I could do to help my body respond to the treatment. I had been to an orthodontist, and the orthodontist felt that the braces would stabilize my spine and my condition with my back, and you know, might help my body respond. When I met Dr. Feld, he felt that, you know, if the jaw is crooked, then how does she know where the teeth go? So he said that he would talk to the orthodontist and convince her that he should help me with the jaw first to get it in the proper position, and then we would probably do braces after that. So the course of treatment was a good one, and it was just he should come first before straightening the teeth. It's just amazing. I started treatment in December. I got my first appliance, and at that point it was very hard for me to put on tennis shoes to play tennis. I couldn't even put the socks on because the burning was so bad. I had tried to play anyway. My foot was getting a little bit better, but now I have total freedom. I can do whatever I want. I can go for a walk, I can play tennis, I can wear what I want to because I can wear the shoes that I would like to wear, and everything is different now. I feel like I've been let out of prison. I feel free. I feel like myself. I feel happy. I think I was losing myself because I was in so much pain, and I have my life back thanks to Dr. Feld. I just feel amazing. It's on the one hand, it's hard to kind of go back to the beginning. I'm very willing to do that. I would like to help somebody else, but it's just emotional because from the point I was at a few months ago to today is just amazing. I felt much better as soon as I put the appliance in. Dr. Feld told me that I might get a little worse before I got better when I got the appliance, and I said, well, he said, well, whatever it is, we'll go through it together. I have a night appliance. It was immediately so much easier to sleep with that appliance. By the second night, I was calling it my night-night. I didn't want to go to bed without it. So everything has been really, really easy. Dr. Feld has got a great, crazy personality. But he's very simple in his approach, and doesn't complicate the issue. He's very clear thinking, and he explains things in a way that you can understand. And I talk to a lot of patients when I come for my visits and see how they're doing, and everybody feels the same way about Dr. Feld. He's accessible. If you have a problem, you can reach him immediately, and I love that about him. There's so many doctors where you just feel like you're there all by yourself.